So this work is about, so I was looking at folk taxonomy. So folk taxonomy, and for a while it was very popular and people wanted to use it, and then they found all these issues and it wasn't, they were having trouble comparing it and things like that. So it kind of got, not abandoned, but scientists tend to stop working with it. But I come from the participatory research section, and if you want it to engage local knowledge holders and you want to get people involved in doing community-based monitoring systems and community-based things, you need folk taxonomy. So we need to move beyond the issues of folk taxonomy, which are there, and say, okay, here are the issues and how do we work beyond that. So kind of the two things I was looking at, I did a study where I sent out folk taxonomists alongside with Latin taxonomy trained students, and we did surveys of the land across Niger, looking at 3 different habitats, mainly just to give us a comparison of a range of sites. They weren't looking all the same things. And first thing I did is, are we getting the same numbers? And the correlation was really tight. Most ecologists would die for this kind of correlation numbers, and R squared of 0.99 is amazing. And it's almost a 1-to-1 when you look at the angle of the chart. It's almost a 1-to-1. However, and so this tells us this is enough that if we wanted to do a local biodiversity monitoring system, we're going to see trends. It's going to correlate enough that we're going to actually see trends, even just using folk taxonomy as our counting measurement. However, it wasn't exactly 1-to-1, so that was where I started asking these questions of saliency. Which are the which ethnotypes, so which folk taxonomic units are salient, or which species are salient? And I did this comparison, comparing for any one ethnotype, so a folk taxonomic unit, compared to how many species, and the other way around, for any species, how many folk taxonomic units compared. And then you got you came up with a list of the who's who and the who's not, right? So which is salient and which aren't. You also came up with patterns where things like herbaceous species tend to be less salient than woody species. This is not surprising. They're harder to distinguish. There's also a lot more of them. This is the Sahel. There's a lot less trees. So that was really interesting. But then what was really interesting is that as you start parsing out these patterns, you learn things about life history of the plants, you learn things about the ecology of the plants, the local importance of the plants. Even in these ones that weren't salient, that's where you really got some information. So, kind of my take-home message was that, the correlation is strong, and if you're looking at really local information, this is really strong enough. But it was the collaboration that was even stronger. So it was really like the importance of bringing local taxonomists together with people on the outside that gave that reflection, that gave another level of information beyond just what's there. So that was kind of where I'm at, and this is the measure I'm trying to introduce and trying to get some feedback. And so, any comments, questions?
What made you select that site to do this research on?
Well, I was working there for I worked there for 3 years as a Peace Corps volunteer, and so I knew local language, and I knew the conservation system. I knew a lot of the plants before going in, and so some people, kind of did that and said, oh, I want to learn something new, but I could have said this was a training, an ethnobiological training that was paid for by the American government. I'm not going to let it go to waste. And so I went back. And yeah, so I kind of hit the ground running, and I was able to get a lot done.